Hello folks, fairly quick one today because I am at work. Right, so this is in New York. I think we're on 5th Avenue. We're by that church that's... What are we? No, maybe that's not that church. By the Trump Tower. Pretty old school cars here. I'd say that's a kind of 1920s car. Somewhere on one of the large avenues. What does that say? The Greater New York Fund. Oh, look, West 49th and 5th. Okay, that's nice and easy. Fifth Avenue, West 49th. Okay. Does it go? It does go from east to west on 5th Avenue. So we know that we're north of the junction. Probably about like most of a block up, maybe sort of there, somewhere like there. Yeah, whatever, that'll do. I'd say we're sometime in the 20s. Maybe. Based on this car. Quite popular. It looks sort of Model T like, doesn't it? Mid-20s. Screw it. Let's try it. Oh, wow. Miles away. Huh. Okay. I guess maybe that's a 40s car, not a 20s car. Or maybe it was... oh, right. Well, I don't know. All right. Well, bad year. I'm also pretty sure that's not the right location because I think it says we're on 5th Avenue here. We're clearly on an avenue, so that location's not right, but near enough. Right then. Some football is being played here. That is a Cyrillic sign, so we're sort of Eastern Europe / Russia. That's a weird kind of bastardization of the UK flag. That says Moscow. That says Moscow as well. So it could be that this is being played in Moscow. Certainly one of the teams playing is from Moscow. That, I think, says Gazprom. So, yeah, that's likely to be Russia, isn't it? So we're going to look for a football stadium in Moscow. Trying to date this. It says 09. These sort of LED pitch side ad things have been around for a good few years now. Those with a better knowledge of, is it Spartak Moscow or something? Players would probably have a better idea of this. I don't know. Should we say sort of about 2015? Something like that? I shall find a football stadium in Moscow, like that one maybe? What's it labelled as? Luzhniki Stadium. I mean, let's pop it there just as a placeholder. See if there's any other large stadia that we can see around the Moscow area. There's one. That actually says Moskva, like Moscow team. So, Dynamo Stadium. Dynamo manage. I mean, are there any other meaningful stadia in the area? Not really. Okay, well, let's check what this one says again quickly, because normally they do seem to have the team name nearby. Has this one got football markings? Yeah. Could be either. I mean, just because this one didn't say Dynamo, this one says Spartak Moscow. So I'm tempted to think that maybe it's the stadium that isn't labelled as a team that isn't that. Let's go with that stadium, 2016. Oof. Wow. Crazy. Couldn't have been further. Well, I mean, that's pretty far off from a geographical perspective. Crowns at the Eternal Derby described as football's most intense rivalry. Serbian teams Red Star Belgrade and FK Partizan. Okay, lots of red herrings in there. Good for those who had prior knowledge of that specific football rivalry. Well played if you got that right. Okay. This is French. We are in France. Probably Paris. Somebody a Leroy's. Something pour homme, for men. Something de choix. Something of choice. Pharmacy. There's a cafe. Bureau. Yeah, okay. All right, fine. Then we got this massive arch. Ludovico Magno. Maison meublée, chauffage, électricité, entrée. Quatrième something. Something. Boulangerie. Bar Morica, Café Diatas, Café Vin. Okay. Right. No reference to the Nouveau siècle, new century, which suggests we're probably pretty early on in the 20th century, I'd have thought. These look like horse and carriage tracks rather than cars. So yeah, maybe Nouveau siècle, we're like really early on. Like really early in the new century. Let's try that. This massive arch, I don't recognize it. Maybe it doesn't exist anymore. A lot of these old big arches, I mean, certainly in London, there's a famous example of the Euston one that got torn down. Not sure where this is. Are we going to say Paris? Looks fairly Parisian. I don't see any place names. It's obviously an early picture because these people are very blurry. Yeah, I don't know how much more there is to derive from this other than to say maybe we pop it in the middle of Paris and we rather hope for the best with this. I'm trying to think, are there any arches in Paris now that I think about it? Like meaningful ones, apart obviously from the Arc de Triomphe. Maybe I'll pop this just south of the, what would this be, like what they would probably call the left-hand side of the river. I don't know if they have Rive Gauche and stuff, don't they? Anyway, I'll pop it down here just because I'm slightly less familiar with that side of Paris, so I'm hedging slightly. Even if, whatever. Let's go for it. 1904, 1914. It was Porte Saint-Denis. I wonder if that's still there. I've never been to. Oh yeah, Porte Saint-Denis. I guess it is still there. All right. Constantly learning about new landmarks in Paris, which I must have been to over a dozen times, and there's still more stuff I've not seen. And it was a bit further into the Nouveau siècle than I gave it credit for. Okay. This is wartime. As always, I'll sort of pop it in the middle of the war. Somewhere in Holland. Amersfoort. Amersfoort is just outside Amsterdam. I've been there a few times. I used to work with a client who was based in Amersfoort. This is obviously a road leading to Amersfoort. So I don't know how far out of Amersfoort we are, but it says Amersfoort and west, maybe? So maybe we're east of Amersfoort. Maybe we're, I don't know, somewhere on this road. Not sure. Let's just pop it outside Amersfoort there. 1942. 1945. Oh, and it was in this little place here. Wherever that is. Okay. Oh, Leusden. All right. And it was 1945. It's so often 1945 with these things. Strange. Okay. Not terrible compared to some of the other rounds today. Tony Blair looking early on in his premiership. He's in Ireland. Should we put this in about 1997? 98. He's probably over in Ireland doing all the Good Friday stuff, so I'd say that's pretty early on for him. Rainbow Restaurant and Coffee Shop. Bank of Ireland. Ulster Bank. Right, now I always get this wrong, but I think Ulster Bank. Ulster is Northern Ireland, I think. I think I'm right in saying. I don't think you'd find an Ulster Bank in Dublin. I'll just check and see if I do. Well, actually, the easy thing to do is probably to check Northern Ireland, and if I find one, then great. Let's assume we're in Belfast here. Didn't know there was a Bangor in Ireland. Right, Ulster Bank. There's Ulster Hall. Right, okay, so yeah, Ulster is definitely Northern Ireland. Am I going to be able to find it? Not sure. Maybe I'll just drop it down in the middle of Belfast, like that. Not going to worry too much. 1998? Sure. It was 97. Oh, and it was in Armour, and it was a year prior to the Good Friday Agreement. I put it in the year of the Good Friday Agreement. All right, well, I wonder if there was any references to Armour here. All right, well, look. How did that get us? Yeah, not great. That Russia one was really, or the one that wasn't Russia, is actually in Serbia. Really threw me for a loop, and a few wild years today. So let's see. Yeah, okay. All right, pretty inconsistent. There's only really a couple there that were decent high scores. How is that compared to the leaderboard? Wow, I've been thoroughly thrashed today. Very good. Relander, Friede Freude, The Fridge 42, Duda 41. Here's me. Just behind me is Panda. And then number 1, 37. Yeah, good leaderboard today. Well done again, Relander. Back on top. Great. All right. Well, look, please do subscribe if you enjoy watching these. I do them every day, although I am about to do a little bit of holiday time, so we'll see whether I'm successful in getting something up most or all of those days. And if you want to add me on the leaderboard, if you want to join the leaderboard, my username is TimeGuessr. It's all lowercase. You can add me on there. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.